Morning Zoms, what's going on? It's 8:15 in the morning. It is Wednesday the 15th of June 2022. The ever-present, the ever-screwed-up zombie Weaver John C. of Roseman, California. Hey guys. Well, it seems like I couldn't sleep much again. Tried to her on the midnight hours. Once more, sleep deprivation screws things up and depression does too. I should get the garbage out. How about that one? Yay. At least some of it anyway, not the rest of it. Should get it out. But it's getting too crammed in the back. So, again, I gotta wait for the guys with the garbage trucks to get out of here. They'll be rolling in a few hours from now. Meanwhile, nightmares. Yeah, nightmares. I did say that one. Oh, yes, boys and girls. We do have nightmares, don't we? Nightmares that would wake you up and then scare the crap out of you. Tell you about your dreams and your fears and your phobias. I'll tell you about the things that you're scared the hell of. Some of the simplest things that we, with mental health issues, I have to deal with everything across the board. People worry whether or not we're going to be getting multiple personalities. Well, I don't know about that. Personalities. What's that? Uh, I'll just think I'm normal. Poverty's Nerfic. A friend of mine once told me that one a long time ago, decades ago. Before she turned into the dark side of the force. Then I can't deal with her afterwards. I still may care about the girl, but the problem is dealing with the dark side of the force that she's dealing with. I'm not dealing with anything of it. Politics is a messy game. Is that a nightmare? Well, it could be counted as such. It could be counted as such. Especially when you're dealing with personalities and issues and knowledge base. And then whether or not you're actually able to think of something and actually understand if it's legitimate or not. Now, equate it with your fears. Scratching your head? Yeah. Okay, let's narrow it down to my fear, okay? Makes it easier. I got a lot of them. I'm not scared of water, though. I'm Aquarian. Aquarians, we're water carriers. We deal with water, we deal with liquid, so it doesn't scare me all that much. Except I'm very careful what I deal with, though. I'm also not careful when it comes down for medical advice or even medical treatments or testing. In that case, everything that deals with medicine or medical, my blood pressure is usually rising to the top again. And this they would call the white lab coat syndrome. Doctors have been experiencing it for years and seeing a lot of patients, youthful patients going through it. Sometimes the older patients. Older patients that had to live with it, grow up with it. Hello, me. Especially when you're dealing with doctors who keep poking and prodding at you just to see whether or not you're alive or not and sucking out your marrow left and right. You think they're vampires or something. Or maybe hungry carnivores in white lab coats ready to tear you apart. Healthy imaginations, but it's not exactly imagination when they come at you with a needle. A straw. I present the straw. Why do I present the straw? Well, the materials are already gone, but I just wanted to show you something. It is a gross exaggeration of what people have to go through, especially when the doctors have to drill for blood. In these, they are specially constructed. They're crimped in the front. They're crimped, but they slide. The inner tube slides. It's almost translucent, isn't it? Here, take a look. You've seen these things in your juice boxes, and your milk boxes, and your water boxes, and whatever boxes that you have. Take these things out, lock it, because the crimp over here is locking here. So this you can stick right into the box and suck it, right? What could be simple? Okay. Now you've got that principle here. Think of it this way. This is a syringe. A syringe is a tube with a sharpened end, and it's usually used for penetration. Basically, penetration of whatever it's going into. And for blood work, it usually goes into the arm or whatever body part it can get blood out of. If they need to, they'll probably get blood out of your damn thigh if you're going to be crazy enough. And if the arms are just too crazy, they would prefer going through the veins, through the venous system. I'm having issues using this demonstration because I've had a lifelong phobia, lifelong fear about needles. Now, thinking as just a straw is one thing, but now I've got my fear level being raised. I've got my fear level being raised right now because of the suggestion of a needle. But it's not a needle. It is simply a suction. It's a tube to suck through. You put your mouth on it and you suck out the liquid. But in a syringe situation, you have the plunger. Once you get this thing set up, get your arm tied off, and then you get arm swab down, or whatever body part it is. And then you get the tube with the sharpened end, with the hole in it. Very tiny. Very, very tiny. Sometimes it'd be a little bit larger than that. I mean, a lot larger. But they would go into they would penetrate either the artery or the vein. Either one is painful. Artery is even worse. Artery, you have to dig and drill just to get to the damn thing, to get blood work out of the damn thing when they want to sample. And I've heard too many people, including my family, hated going through that because they really drilled for blood. And I've had nurses do that too, except when they're doing it through the venous system. The venous system is the easiest thing for them to get the blood work out of. Comes out almost red, doesn't it? In the veins, the blood corpuscles have already exchanged gases already in the caterpillars and in the vessels. So it's without oxygen. But what oxygen molecules are in the syringe when it goes in to do the suction has been introduced. And therefore the red almost looks like it's almost red, doesn't it? You know, when you cut yourself, you get yourself a capillary bleeding like crazy, or a vein. Artery continues to bleed like crazy because it's fresh blood being pumped, and it's full of oxygen. In the venous system, they say it's almost bluish because it's lacking oxygen, and it's got carbon dioxide and waste gases that the corpuscles are trying to get rid of in the lungs in the gas exchange chamber here. It's interesting to understand medical terminology and how health systems work, how the body works. That's one thing. But all that knowledge does not help you get rid of the damn phobia. I have had the sharpest pains all my youth of people sticking it to me before they came out with the flexible tubes. I mean, you still move a little bit, but and you're still a bit immobilized, but you can still move a bit more. With the steel needles, uh, you had to move less. Otherwise, they worried about the needle breaking off and going through the blood system and hitting something. That scared the hell out of people, and me too, because they kept telling me and warning me about that too many damn times. That always worried about me, especially when I'm looking at a needle going into my arm as a kid, and I was always panicking. I never liked the sting of it. I never did it right. They had bad phlebotomists back then that didn't know how to deal with kids with sensitive skin or sensitive nerves and skin. And that was me at the time. They always told me to be brave, be brave. You gotta deal with this pain. It's just a simple stick. Yeah, well, when the effects of it are still ringing through the brain and you're still seeing the damn thing in your arm, it's panic season. You got something, an alien nature in you. It's a fight or flight syndrome kicking in left and right. But they kept laughing it off. They kept saying it was white lab coat syndrome throughout the decades. They never equated it to being PTSD that you were inflicting a kid with. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. And they wonder how come we adults of the Generation X are getting freaked out too many damn times and having flip outs left and right. It's because we couldn't deal with it back then and wasn't allowed to be comforted about it. You know what a comforter for what my mother would try to do for me? It's cheese and crackers. How does food equate to a comfort, especially when I got assaulted and violated? All in the name of health, all in the name of taking care of my body. Well, my brain, screw it. My psyche, screw it. As long as the body was taken care of, who cares about everything else? Idiots. And it's no wonder I had to have conversations as an adult and being embarrassed about it. How would you like to talk to a nurse or a doctor about your phobias concerning about it? I mean, these days, the older adults are talking more and more about the damn thing. And what was it, back in the 70s and 80s, they were talking about the adults going through desensitive training, trying to desensitize everybody, making sure that they felt as if they were in control. Were they? Were they actually in control of their own damn fears and phobias? You know, that was the thing about me. Nobody cared. Nobody picked up on it. Nobody ever cared about it. Not the doctors, not the family, nobody. So now I have to deal with a broken mind and a broken body at this point. I have to find ways to get myself, quote unquote, healed. What's this? What's the training for desensitizing a person regarding the fear of a needle? They have to break it down, don't they? Okay. How's it broken down? Well, let's see. First of all, you get yourself a medical insurance and you get yourself a doctor. You got that? All right. Next, Back in the 90s, they came out with the parity laws in the state and across several states. The parity law would be treating mental health as medical. Prior to that, totally separate benefits, totally separate things. You would have to pay psychiatrists and psychologists and shrinks and stuff. There'd be different insurance concerning about mental health behavior and treatment that you have to pay through the nose and pay through everywhere else just to get the help needed or just to get the quote unquote advice. There was never a separate insurance plan for coming nervous and mental. And they had some legal stuff over this. They finally passed state laws concerning, and then they passed national laws that nervous and mental benefits are just as indeed important as office visits and inpatient hospitalizations for medical as well as nervous and mental. Okay, why the bureaucracy that I talk about? Because when I worked at an insurance company, I learned a lot of things. But it doesn't help me get past my damn fear of needles. I'm just aware that I would need no referral to see a shrink. Or I'd probably see a specialist. And they may cost more than what the insurance will authorize. So I have to keep that in mind. But the sensitivity trainings that they have is individualized for each person. So we're talking about needles. I don't know what the exact procedure is regarding a damn needle. All I do know is the damn new thing's coming up and I'm freaked. I got a doctor, but I don't have any appointments set up. If I did, my blood pressure would be raised all the time. And since I'm talking about it, my blood pressure still is up there. Because I feel the pumping. I feel the pressure. I feel the differences in my body. Sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. And I feel the anxiety building. Talking about this stuff is anxiety laden. Especially when I'm using this as an example for my syringe. The simple straw that we just talked about. A simple straw to extract fluids out of a box of liquid. Except I'm the box of liquid. And it's got to go in me to get the liquid out. So something more solidified, something more harder would have to go into my veins. Something more skinnier, tinier, manufactured that way to get into it. The procedure. You're always talking to a phlebotomist, and the phlebotomist wants to take your arm. Which arm you want to prefer? I'm always taking it from the right because in the left, I had an accident a long time ago. So the veins, they couldn't even find. But this, they're getting too much scar tissue out of. I've got so much scar tissue in my damn arm, it's not even funny. I'm afraid that damn scar tissue is going to be hitting my brain, and I'm really fucked. Or worse, make a blood clot and go after my damn heart. Or my lungs, or my brain, and I'm really fucked. And I have to tell them that. I have to tell them that. I'm not looking forward to getting stabbed anywhere else. But they can't continue to do the arm, though, because I'm afraid of blood clots and I'm afraid of scar tissue. And if they had an x-ray machine and take a look at the veins, they would probably see how many of them have scar tissue on them. And sometimes it's harder to get through them. It makes the pain level that much more excruciating. Especially if it's not done right. The only problem is, you need a tougher needle instead of the butterfly. The butterfly offers more comfort, but it's slow going for the liquid to go through the needle into the tube of the syringe for capture. Why am I talking about this? This is my fear, one of them anyway. I've had dreams of dealing with blood work every once in a great while. And when I do, I wake up with my blood pressure going skyrocketing because I'm afraid all the damn time. I'm afraid of too much. And rattles my cage. I just don't like it. But I don't know how to get past it either. I've had a comical dream when I was a kid. A nightmare. The character Witch Hazel from the Warner Brothers collection. This nightmare in Elm Street that they've created. She's absolutely hideous. Locks are flying out of her damn hair left and right. Wearing a black dress, she's always a witch. Comical. Kind of reminded me of Mama or Grandma sometimes. But not with a laugh, though. But, I don't know, sometimes Ma's laugh came close to her being Witch Hazel. And Hazel, in my dream, would come after me with a huge needle. Huge syringe. Old fashioned. Steel. Damn thing would turn into a lance. And she sees me and chases me in corners I don't even know where the hell I am. Forces me into a medical area where there's got an examination bed in there. I got no place to run. And as a dumb kid, I'm getting on top of the damn bed, hoping to stay the hell away from me. No, here she comes. She's chasing me left and right, holding the damn syringe like a lance. As if she's a soldier ready to go into battle. White nurse's uniform with a white Dixie cap on it. Or not a Dixie cap, but a nurse's cap on it. And she comes in, and the damn thing turns from a lance into a damn syringe she's got in her hand. She's laughing her head off, getting closer and closer to me. I wake up. I'm screaming my head off. I must have been 10 or 11. I must have been. Because having that kind of a dream, having that kind of a nightmare, puts a hell of a lot of stress and strain on a person's body, including the heart and including the brain. Fear. I already had the fear of death. Now I got the fear of life. And that had stayed with me throughout my entire growth to this point. I can't tell you that I am fearless now. I'm not. I still cling to it, unfortunately. It sucks. It would have been nice to be treated like I can deal with this, like I got everything in the world. Nothing can harm me. Nothing can deal with me. The only problem is, that's a hell of a lie to myself, I would tell. So I can deal with the sharp sting. Everyone else keeps saying it's just a sharp needle prick. It's just that. No, it's the psychological stigma surrounding it. Surrounding that one little tiny event that puts a sharp image and sharp pain stimulus through the nervous system into the brain, and it has to respond. It has to respond. And it's already been responding. It's already raised up the blood pressure left and right. It's already raised up the stress level to a point where you couldn't even deal with it. I couldn't even deal looking at it. Even as an adult, I couldn't even deal with it. There was no way I could have. But it's a simple needle stick, right? A little sharp pain wouldn't hurt you. Unless you've had a lot of it all your life and you still couldn't deal with it. And you have to deal with the social stigma afterwards, or even beforehand. Embarrassing for your mother is also embarrassing for you because now you're treated like a second class citizen, or you're treated as oddly because now you got to go against the doctor and your mother because you're freaking too much about what's going on with the damn thing. You don't even like the blood work. You don't even like getting injections for just the simple inoculation. Stuff they're going to be pumping into your arm. And this is the thing I had to deal with. This is the thing I had to deal with all my life, still. If they had inoculations in an easier format, no problem. I can deal with it. But it's always the injections. And my blood pressure would always rise, including when we have the COVID injections happening. The antibodies. The antibodies to protect a person. You couldn't put it into a sugar cube and let me eat the damn thing that way. No, they're afraid I might turn into a diabetic. They got more than a tablespoon of sugar in this thing in the first place. And that's tea. The processed kind. With sugar added to get past the damn lemony overkill. At this point, I'm going to have a hard time trying to go back to sleep. But I'm going to try. Because I need to relax. I need to de-stress. I need to get past this fear. The blood pressure. I need to lay down. I need to get myself relaxed to where I'm not stressing over something, because today is not a day for a doctor's visit. Today is just another Wednesday. And I should feel happy about that. I'm not. Not even close. Yeah. Some things I can deal with and other things I can't deal with. Some things I have control over and other things I don't have control over. For example, I don't like seeing gray on my face or gray in my hair. I can control that. That's a minor fear that I can control with just a beard trimmer and keep it back a bit. Of course, I haven't used a razor blade on me for a long while. But I can still knock it down a little bit where I don't have to be reminded of it constantly. But when it comes down for the syringe situation, now I'm going to have a problem with these damn things because of what they represent to me. Instead of a simple straw, a simple mechanical straw. It's now a representation of my fear. And my head don't like that. I hope I get a dream to resolve this damn thing, because I don't think it's ever going to be ever resolved in my lifetime. Anyway, as my brother would say, buenas noches.